rich get richer and the poor get poorer because nobody is teaching the concepts and the basics of money. So that's what I'm here to do. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notifications because every week here on the Money Mom YouTube channel, we're going to be talking about money, entrepreneurship, personal growth, God, all of the things that we need to know to sustain a healthy lifestyle, own our time, be in charge of our money and things like that. So we're going to start at a very basic level today. So if you're anything like me, you didn't really understand money, you didn't learn it in grade school or high school or anything like that. And so you just don't know where to start. You know that you want to get your money right. You know that you probably want to get out of debt, maybe make more of it, invest it, save for the future, things like that, but you don't know where to start. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips and tangible pieces of material that you can use to get your household, your financial household in order. The first thing we like to do, so number one, if you're taking notes, write this down. You can click the link below. It's called the in versus out sheet. And what we do here, it's important that if you're married, that you sit down with your spouse. We're going to talk about budgeting. I know not a lot of people like to hear this, but I'm going to give you guys step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Get with your spouse, sit down. You're going to use the link below, print this sheet out, and you're going to look at what's coming in. So your income. Once you get your paycheck, if you're a W-2 employee, which most people are, you have your gross amount. You have your federal taxes, your state tax, whichever state you're in, your Social Security, your Medicare, maybe some deductions, and then you have your net amount. The very first thing we want to do is figure out what that net amount is. So if you're married, you're going to take both of them. That's your household income combined. Then we're going to look at our expenses. The sheet has somewhere for you to write down. Outside, these are what we call our basic needs. Mortgage or rent, so that's your shelter. Utilities, it's what keeps your household going round. Groceries and how you eat, things like that, and then transportation costs. So this is your gas, your auto insurance, potentially a car payment. These are what we call they're non-negotiables. You have to have them to keep your life running. And so you can list all those out. And then you can put in dining out, all the extra gym memberships and Netflix. And this is what we call negotiables, things that you can cut out. So you always want to be looking for what you can cut out. So now let's look. You have what's coming in, you have what's going out, you use the sheet, and whatever you have left over is the amount of money you have to reach your financial goals. Now, a complete side note, if that number is negative, so you're spending more than you're making, you need to make more money. And make sure, again, to follow because our next episode is going to be all about entrepreneurship, side hustles, starting a business, and creating more cash flow. But the more money you make doesn't necessarily make your problems go away. And so we want to get a hold and be able to organize and control what we have. So you take in versus out, and this is what we call your discretionary income. With your discretionary income, we have three main goals we want to hit. One is having an emergency fund. So there's a lot of debate. I know some people say that you need $1,000 in emergency funds, different expenses, but here's a general rule of thumb. Take your expenses, the mortgage, utilities, groceries, car, transportation costs, and you multiply that by 3. So if all of those total $3,000, then you need to take 3,000 times 3. It means you need $9,000 ready to go in the event of an emergency. You should always be actively working towards having a steady emergency fund. Next thing we want to do is, I get a question a lot of the times, do I pay down debt or do I start investing for my kids' college, for generational wealth, for retirement, things like that, long-term investments? And the answer is not, just one answer all around, but what you need to do is you need to be very strategic. And on the in versus out form, you're able to write down exactly what debt you have, interest rate, things like that, because we want to tackle high interest rate debt first. That's anything over 10%. And let me tell you why. If you have a credit card or even a mortgage, right? Some type of debt, and the interest rate is 2%, 3%. Why would you tackle that when you could be making your money work harder than you, right? This is what the rich do. This is what the rich know how to do. You put your money to work and you make 8, 10, and 12%. It doesn't make sense. So we want to be as strategic as possible. So you want to get down high interest rate debt. You start paying it down. And we're going to be doing a video on the different methods of paying down debt, but at least having the idea of what debt you have, your interest rate, and things like that. And then we're going to look at investing as well. You always want to be investing for long term, but you also want to think about, you want to buy a house or something like that. That's something totally separate. So we're only talking about emergency fund, paying down high debt, and investing. So then you want to take the rest of that and invest and reach your goals, okay? And we'll talk about that more in detail. And then last but not least, this is an essential part of the foundation, is you're going to put this plan in place. I hope this sheet helps you get organized and at least get all your thoughts out onto paper. And as we go through this series, you'll be able to tackle different, pieces of it. But this is just to get all of our thoughts out on paper. Very basic. I hope this helps you guys organize your thoughts. But last but not least, you always want to make sure that you have life insurance. Because if it doesn't matter if you have kids, whatever it is, if you have all this in place and then something happens unexpectedly to, say, your spouse, the whole house crumbles. And so we always want to make sure that's in place. Now, there's 2 different types of life insurance. This is basic knowledge. Term, which is temporary. That's for a temporary amount of time. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You might even have term insurance through your job. It's temporary. It's very unlikely that it's going to pay out. But it's good to have because you have peace of mind when you have, I'm just a good example. I have a 20-year term. Once my term is up, it's gone. My kids have left the nest. I don't really need it anymore. If something happens to me, I've already built wealth. But you can also have permanent insurance. And what permanent insurance is, it's more expensive than term, but it will see you through till the day you pass away. Whether you die tomorrow, age 120, you can also accumulate what we call cash value. You can put your money to work there. And so having a blend of those is usually what I recommend to my clients, but at least having your life insurance in order. All right, so now that you guys have these steps, make sure, again, you use the link below, download the in versus out sheet, get your thoughts out, get organized, and be sure to subscribe and like because we're going to be following each of these subjects through. I'm going to go in depth. We're going to release videos and you're going to be able to really have an understanding of this. And as always, if you want to meet with us or our team for free, you can use the link below to schedule an appointment.